Welcome to Too Many Tabs. Trans rights are human rights. I want to open the episode by just reminding everybody that. This for multiple reasons, which will become very clear later in this episode, but I feel like we have been getting away from that messaging in general as a nation and as people. Mrs. P and I feel very strongly
Absolutely.
that trans people are human beings who deserve respect and are human beings who live on a shitty planet just like the rest of us who are just trying to get through their day. Okay? We want to start there. Also, disabled people deserve respect. Disabled people, whether it be physical or cognitive, have a right to exist. The reason I'm opening the episode this way is because I did my research for a topic this week, and that topic is Lolcows. Some of y'all are like, oh, Lolcows are fun. No. This is going to get different. We're going to be covering some pretty deep, dark shit, okay? There's a whole section on Chris Chan in here. I just want you guys to be prepared. But I also want our fans to know what we believe before we start going into this episode, which is that trans rights are human rights and that all people deserve respect and to not be harassed. And so as we get into this, we'll have some sillies, we'll have some fun. This is still Too Many Tabs, a podcast where a husband and wife duo sit across from each other at a desk where one of them does research that hurts their soul in a way that they didn't have to dump onto their partner.
I didn't agree to that.
No, you did.
I did?
You did. We stood before a priest, our friends, our family, and God.
Oh, he was there?
He was there.
Oh, gross.
She was there.
Oh, hey.
They were there.
All right.
Because God's probably non-binary. Am I right, y'all? Come
That makes
on.
sense. Well, I mean, because God in the Catholics is 3, right?
Gets 3 parts.
Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. That's 3.
That's not a binary. That's a
Boom.
trinary. God's non-binary.
Boom.
Anyway, this is a show where one of us does research on topic.
And it wasn't me this week.
It was not you this week. Instead, it was me. And now you're going to be tortured for it.
Yeah, I figured that. I just noticed that was going to happen.
Yeah, that's 100% what is about to happen. Welcome to Too Many Tabs.
Too many frauds and too many scammers that we wish weren't real. Too many cons and too many spammers, and we're starting to feel like we've got too many tabs open. It's too many tabs. Remember to smile.
You do always say, oh, Too Many Tabs, an audio forward podcast. But then you dance like that. And I say, people deserve to see that.
Well, I dance on the YouTube during the theme a little bit.
A little bit?
Just a little bit. Listen,
You just looked like the flying spaghetti monster.
we've gotten a lot of feedback from a lot of different things. I've been scrolling through some of the comments.
All right.
And blocking many of them. But no, it's been good. It's been good. And once again, to everybody out there, we're playing around with the audio. As always.
We're working on it. I'm talking louder.
You're trying to talk louder.
Yep.
And then when you have a coughing fit, just know, y'all, it's your fault for saying in the comments. No.
Whoa, I'm sorry.
No, it's not.
I'm still healing from chickenpox in
it's
the
not
throat.
you. It's not you I'm pointing at. I'm pointing
okay.
to the people.
Oh, you're blaming
I'm
them.
pointing to the people out there in YouTube land.
Oh.
But no, in general, we're having a great time. This episode is going to go some places. So before we do that, we just want to go do our usual announcements before we get into the show.
All right.
And a couple announcements to people are, as we always have said, get your library card. Mrs. P, do you have anything you'd like to say about that?
How do I elaborate on the most perfect sentence? Get your library card. Sign up for the events at your local library. When I talk about libraries, a lot of the time I'm looking at it through the perspective of development, which is how do they get their funding? And one of the ways that libraries get their funding is that they offer all these different events and benefits and classes, but you got to sign up for them because they got to prove that they're working and that people like them. So please go to your local library, get the card. You get lots of free books, audiobooks, digital books, all the books. Also, take the classes, go to the events. Our library's having a big Chinese New Year event. We're going to have the dragons. It's going to be super cool.
Yeah, Lunar
Definitely
New Year.
going.
Yeah.
We got to go to all the stuff, virtual and in person. That's how they get their funding. And we got to stay funded. And also, if you have the capacity, the time, the energy, the rage that lives in your gut that fuels you to show up to things and yell and be a problem, if you have that same thing I have, go to the board meetings. Go sit at the board meetings of the library. Make sure they're not banning shit. Make sure they're not fucking around with your ability to access literature, to access education, and that for your community. That's all.
100%. There we go. That's a great message.
Thanks.
Beyond that, if you want to join us on Patreon, we're patreon.com/Pearlmania500 or pearlmania500.net to join the Frozen Chosen. That's what I'm going to start calling them, maybe?
Wait, can you share with everybody that one inbox message you got
Which one?
about why they rejoined the Patreon?
Oh.
Because I think it really is perfect.
One of the best ways to reach us is to join the Patreon and then message us through there. Because once you start paying, we're at least gonna look at it.
Okay, that's not the case. It's actually just so much easier to see the messages.
They're also all centralized, and it's a place we look on every week.
And also because the messages on all the other platforms, there's also like
spam filters.
4,000 RFK, Jill Stein, Trump people threatening to murder us. So it's hard to find you guys.
There's that. And also things like Instagram, TikTok, and others often like to flag random people as spam.
Yeah,
and then throw them into hidden spam filters we can't see.
Yeah.
So if you want to message us, the best way to do it is to join the Patreon and then shoot us a message through there or shoot us an email. But we did get a message from somebody saying that they had let their Patreon lapse. Mm-hmm. They've been a Patreon member for a very long time.
Yep.
And they messaged us to let us know that they were coming back. And they had to because they were so tired of hearing BetterHelp ads. And that if they
give it a quote.
They said, and I quote, "If I hear one more BetterHelp ad, I'm going to BetterHelp myself off a cliff." And so I want to thank...
And that is everything to me.
Yeah, so I want to thank them in particular just for pointing out to us
we had such a laugh.
That was incredible for us. And we'll have more about sponsors and other things later in the video. But for now, we're going to take our first break. And then we're going to come back. And Mrs. P, I'm going to explain the definition of Lolcows to you.
I feel like I'm excited, but like nervous. Like the roller coaster's like ticking up. And I'm like, this could be really fun and interesting. But also, everything I've ever heard about this has me weary and scared that I'm on the most
You're
scary.
not on the roller coaster.
I'm not on the roller coaster?
No. You're in line. You're in a very long line for the roller coaster.
Oh, okay.
And you've been waiting in that line for like 3 hours, and you've been watching people go past on fast passes. And now the roller coaster broke down, and you just watch a car full of people on the roller coaster fly off to their death.
Oh, okay. So this is a comedy podcast where a husband and wife duo sit across from each other at a table and hold hands and share lore. But you're staring at me very aggressively, and it's making me pretty nervous. You gonna hit that button? You gonna... Nope, no, he's making eye contact with the camera.
We'll be right back.
We're back.
We're back. Here we are. Okay, Mrs. P. Do you know what a lol is?
LOL.
LOL.
Yeah, we're laughing out loud.
There we go. Thank you. That you've already proven that you're not that old.
Okay, cool.
Because some people believe lol means lots of love.
Who?
Old people.
Oh, they think that every time I say okay dork LOL that I'm saying okay dork lots of love.
No, not every one of them, but I've known multiple people who had like a grandparent or a mom who thought lol meant lots of love. And so their mom was replying lol to stuff.
Oh no.
Inappropriately.
I love that.
It is a you know what? Lots of love to that.
Lots of love to that situation.
Do you know what a cow is?
Yeah.
Okay. Define.
Okay. Cow is a four-legged mammal that are very sweet and cute and are very furry when you go to Vermont, and I like them Vermont ones because it's so furry and cute. And then there's dairy cows where you get milk from.
Yeah.
And then there's the cows that we eat. And then there's bulls and steers. And there's all kinds of other stuff about cows I don't really know a lot about.
Okay, good. So you understand that lol means lots of love and that cows are large creatures that can be milked.
Okay.
Okay?
When you say it like that.
Okay, so a lol cow is a person that you milk for the lols.
Oh. I immediately don't like that.
Yeah. That's what this is. That's what we're going to be discussing.
Episode.
The whole episode.
Cool.
If you came to this episode being like, what is a lolcow? That's the answer. I'm now going to spend a lot of time explaining how that's horrific.
Oh, you don't even have to explain. It's in the name.
I know it is in the name, but the thing is the name has actually been so disassociated now that people don't connect it back to the fact that what is happening is horrible.
Okay.
Because what is happening is people are being used as content mines.
Yeah.
And the people who are doing this view themselves as content farmers, not as what I'm going to call from here on out milkmaids.
Oh, okay.
Because what they're doing is they're typically picking people who are kind of cringy and kind of different.
Sure.
Whether that be through cognitive or physical appearance or ability, or through their beliefs or all these other different things. And they're trolling these people.
Okay.
And these are people, the Lolcow themselves are people who are targeted by people on the internet, whether it be through brigades or by individuals, who are then being used to generate content to make money from it.
Okay. So this, okay. So I was about to say, who has time to do all this? But then you just said they're going to make money off of it. So
From the
they're
internet.
making time for it.
Yes, they're making time. At first, it starts as for the lulz. Now, do you know what for the lulz is?
I'm assuming for the laughs.
Yes, 100%. It is actually a 4chan term. It just means in any action that you're doing for personal enjoyment. But a lot of people hide that they're actually doing it for monetary gain behind claiming that they're really just doing it for fun.
Oh, okay.
You know, like this podcast, we just do it for fun. Our patreon.com/ProMania500. So let's go ahead and go back.
Okay.
Okay.
Where
We're
are we
gonna go
going?
back. We're gonna listen. This wouldn't be a YouTube video. This wouldn't be a podcast. This wouldn't be anything talking about internet culture if we didn't travel back to medieval times.
I'm sorry, what?
Freak shows have existed since medieval times.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true.
So, you know, the ancient idea of a freak show, which are traveling carnival shows that were full of mainly disabled people, that would show off these people to local villagers.
Yeah.
We have records of them in the English-speaking world in England, going back at least 400 years. There are versions of this going back even deeper into ancient times. But like the exact idea of what's like a freak show carnival sideshow that is being put on as like an exhibition for money, that idea is about 400 years old.
Okay.
But in America, from 1840 to 1940, the freak show was one of our top forms of entertainment.
Yeah. There's a whole American Horror Story about it.
There's yeah, exactly. There's the American Horror Story of Freaks, but then there's the movie Freaks, which is like really good from the 1930s. It's like it humanizes people a little bit more while also kind of being a horror. But there's a lot of other things about this. But one of the reasons that people really miss out on the reason why freak shows existed, especially in the middle of that period, from 1840 to 1940, is in America we had a thing called the Ugly Laws.
Yes. Do you want to explain that?
Yeah, do you know what they are?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the Ugly Laws were laws that were passed across municipalities, across the entire United States, that were designed to hide anyone that was visibly, quote, diseased, maimed, mutilated, or in other way deformed from being in public. This was mainly aimed at homeless people.
Yep.
And this was mainly aimed at beggars. It started out in Chicago in 1881 in a local ordinance there that was known as the Unsightly Beggar Ordinance. It then spread to other cities, including our state of Pennsylvania. The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania was one of the few areas that had a statewide ugly law.
No uggos, they said.
No uggos. But there in Pennsylvania, the law also included people with cognitive disability. That law passed in 1891. Our society at the time did not have social safety nets. So things like welfare, things like SNAP, things like basic education.
Yeah.
All these different things weren't there. So if you had somebody who had a physical, mental, or behavioral rarity,
Yep.
or disability, they didn't really have much of anything to fall back on. And a lot of these different disabilities would be dwarfism, conjoined twins, just being obese,
Yeah.
literally non-binary and trans people, peoples of colors. Like you would have freak shows where they would be like, look, here's a Native American.
Yeah.
Oh, here's somebody that was, quote, found in a rainforest, where they would say jungle of South America, all these different things. These people in America would not have a lot of choices or options on how they were to be able to survive. If they could get a job and survive from being maimed in a wheat thresher or any of these other different things that were happening, especially in the 1890s, great, that would be great. But for the most part, they would be shunned from local communities.
Yeah.
Which is how they ended up banding together or ending up inside of freak shows tied to carnivals. We also have there's a man during this time named P.T. Barnum, which I'm not going to get too much into, but
That's a whole episode.
He's a whole episode. He's a horrific monster that Hugh Jackman did a musical about. But
well, yeah,
The Greatest Showman. But it's crazy. I don't think in that musical, I'm pretty sure they don't mention him literally dissecting his dead slave.
No,
doesn't come up once.
It doesn't. He doesn't sing about that.
Doesn't sing about that. He's not doing the clap and being like, "Oh, I'm Hugh Jackman. Oh, please don't drag me into Ryan Reynolds bullshit with Blake Lively."
Oh, I hope he does. Just a little touch of
just
it.
a little bit.
Come on, just
a little bit.
Him.
But a lot. P.T. Barnum was like the Henry Ford in that way of like he really figured out how to market.
Yeah.
But also what P.T. Barnum did more so than a lot of these other ones was a lot of things he put on were fake.
Yeah, of course.
And drummed up. He would come up with a great marketing idea and then figure out how to make the exhibition.
Yeah.
Versus in a lot of these cases, you had like the bearded woman or other people like that were just literally just sitting there.
Yeah.
They're just sitting there knitting. And then people walk in and go, "Oh, look at that great big fat lady.
Yeah.
Look at that fat lady. Look at the pinheads." And they would point at these different people and just go, "Oh, look at that." And the thing is this felt good for the townspeople.
Yeah.
Because the townspeople who had sad, empty lives across the middle of the country and in a lot of these areas where they don't have a lot to look forward to. They're like, "What are we going to do this week?" "Oh, we're going to sit here until we invent the radio."
Go to church. Revivals.
Hey, maybe if we're good enough, our kid might die in a war.
Whoa.
Of gangrene.
Oh, no.
But what the Traveling Freak Show gave them was a chance once or twice a year for them to point at people and say, "At least I'm not those freaks."
Mm-hmm.
And so it allowed them to do that and also allowed them to gin up all sorts of other different feelings in them. This is ingrained in American society. It is kind of what a lot of our world is built on, and we ignore it.
Yeah.
This was really held up.
Real quick.
Yeah.
It's very much, it gives me that, like sometimes disabled people will say people will come up to them and be like, "Oh my God, you're so inspiring." And they're like, "My existence is not inspiration for you. That's crazy and also demeaning."
Yeah.
Like, don't say that. Like, what a weird thing to say.
Yeah.
To someone, let alone out loud.
Mm-hmm.
Bad enough thinking it. But real bad saying it.
But also, these ugly laws are the reason why, like right now, as we're recording this, RFK Jr. is going up for a vote whether or not he's going to be Health and Human Service Secretary. Yeah. This morning, the President of the United States posted on True Social. He posted that 20 years ago, there wasn't that many autistic people, and now there's 1 out of every 34 kids are autistic, right? Mm-hmm. The reason there were less autistic people, 1, was diagnosis.
Yeah.
But 2, literally it was against the law.
Yeah.
To be seen. I had family members in my family who were diagnosed as having, different mental and cognitive disabilities. They were put in homes.
Yeah.
In the 40s, in the 30s, in the 50s. They were locked away for their entire lives. RFK is out here talking about how, when I was a kid, nobody had peanut allergies. When you were a kid, they drove an ice pick into a girl's brain, and then they hid her from her family.
You mean Rosemary Kennedy?
Yes, Rosemary Kennedy. I couldn't remember her name.
Yeah, I got you.
But I was like, she got it. I know she knows what I'm talking about. They literally lobotomized her.
Yeah.
And when RFK with 14 years of heroin usage, he gets to be in charge of the vaccines, maybe. I don't know.
I don't really know.
But my point is, until 1974, these laws were at least on the books.
Yeah.
1974 is when the last ugly law was repealed in America. And they weren't really enforced too hard, but they did exist enough to be part of our culture. They did exist enough to be a threat. They did exist enough for people to point to these laws and then threaten people, so they would end up having to be pushed further and further to the margins of society, further and further to the edges of society, to where they had to band together to be used by ringleaders, literal ringleaders of circuses, to be the geek, biting chicken heads off and all these other things.
Yeah. I was just Googling because I thought it was the 90s, but I wanted to get the exact date. July 26, 1990. That's when the American with Disabilities Act was passed.
Literally my next sentence.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about like the time frame, because it was like 70s. They got rid of the ugly laws. And then
the 80s, Reagan
emptied out all of the mental health facilities, the institutions. The 90s, we got the ADA because the horror of witnessing someone have to crawl up the stairs without a wheelchair shifted because it was on television.
Yeah.
People finally witnessed, because again, everything had been hidden, everything had been secret. But then when the protesters and the advocates were fighting for the ADA to get passed, I do not remember the person's name. I know that one of the protesters who was wheelchair bound got out of their wheelchair and began to climb the stairs.
The front steps of the Capitol.
The front steps of the Capitol, and it was caught on TV.
Yeah.
And the incredible pushback that came towards the White House. Bush passed this.
Yeah, George H.W. Bush.
H.W. Bush, because so many people were like, oh my God, you need to build ramps.
Senators literally had to step over the bodies of the disabled on national television to go to their jobs. Now, one of the big changes that we've had in this country since the ADA is people are no longer allowed to climb the steps of the Capitol.
That's why?
It's not open to the public to do it in that way. You have to get like clearance to get to certain areas.
They said you're not going to protest over here like that again.
I literally yelled that. I remember when going to the Capitol in the early 2000s, because I'd been there as a kid and going there in the early 2000s, and they had a whole area fenced off. I said, "Why is that fenced off?" Like, "Oh, because they're building a welcome center." I'm like, controlled entrance, controlled entrance for the people.
Yeah.
Oh God, I got it. Before we could all just walk through the front doors. Now you can't do that. If you do, you have to wait 4 years, and then your dude will pardon you.
Well,
now, sorry, that was just thinly veiled January 6th. Now,
thinly veiled?
Thinly
Come
veiled.
on, you even said it out loud.
I know. Anyway, what I have written here, before Mrs. P just ran ahead.
Sorry.
She's so smart.
My bad.
The Americans with Disabilities Act, the ADA of 1990. This is a law that protects people with disabilities from discrimination, but also says that businesses moving forward have to build accommodations for disabled people. So wheelchair ramps, making sure there's elevator access, making sure we have Braille, making sure there's all these different things. And also then getting into cognitive disabilities, making sure that there is a teacher on staff that can help someone with autism, making sure that kids with Down syndrome have extra staff to help them at their schools. This was all written and changed with 1990. That really did change American culture around disability. Suddenly you started to see more of a push, especially in media, of showing disabled people. The reason why Drake was in a wheelchair, because the ADA changed culture in that way, where they're like, we need a wheelchair kid. Put Drake in it. How are we going to get him in a wheelchair? Shoot him.
Whoa.
That is on the show, on Degrassi.
Kendrick Lamar.
I'm not saying it.
5 Grammys.
But it became a big change slowly. It took a decade plus. But pointing and laughing at people for the sole reason that they were disabled was frowned upon.
Yeah.
And looked at as shitty culture.
Yeah.
And looked at as being bad.
Yeah.
Because these people, in many cases, had no choice. They were literally born this way, or they had an accident or something else, right?
Pardon me.
Now, this is where we're going to get into our shift.
Okay.
And that shift is going to involve the guy named Jerry Springer. And I'm going to get into that shift right after this break.
All right. Jerry Springer, baby. Okay, here's what I know about Jerry Springer.
Okay.
Number 1, daytime TV.
Okay.
Number 2, always had a stripper pole at the end. Little dance. Remember that?
Later, he did.
Yeah, a little stripper dance at the end.
Yeah.
That was always funny. Also a lawyer.
He was a lawyer.
Also a politician.
Yep.
Also wasn't born in the United States.
No, his parents were Holocaust survivors.
Yep.
So let's talk about Jerry Springer. So Jerry Springer was a former Cincinnati, Ohio city councilman that resigned in disgrace from his seat after paying a prostitute with a check.
Damn. I need you to know. I didn't know that, but I
You didn't
laid
know that?
out the red
You
carpet
didn't know
for that.
Oh, man. Yeah, no.
I just told you the bio that I remember.
Yeah, it was like 1974 or 75. I think he had to drop out. Like he was known.
Remember
as
when people resigned in disgrace?
Oh God, do I remember? Remember those days, y'all?
Remember when people would have shame?
Yo, get in the comments and say, yo, I remember when people used to resign in disgrace. But no, Jerry Springer was considered a gonzo politician.
Oh, okay.
So he
loved chickens.
He was a Democrat, and he would do a lot of crazy stunts. So, like, you know, I don't have anything in particular that I wrote down about it, but, like, he was just doing, like, crazy press conferences. He just knew how to get the radio and the TV and the anchors talking about him and to get a lot of local press.
Perfect.
So when he resigned in disgrace with the prostitute check thing, I don't think the check bounced. I think they were just like, dude, you wrote a check to a prostitute.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
Not till we see Matt Gaetz will we see this happen
we see
again.
this again. With the check, literally, he wrote Venmo and checks.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
Does cash not exist, my dudes?
Well, you know what? We're talking to my mom earlier. It might not because
Oh.
she couldn't even understand the ATM today. So
Okay, yeah.
ATMs are getting complicated, y'all. I haven't touched one in a while, though. So
I don't know.
You have to leave the house to touch an ATM. And it's getting scary out there. Planes are falling from the sky. Now, listen. 2 weeks in. Listen. Jerry Springer was so good at politics.
Okay.
That after resigning in disgrace, guess what happened?
What?
He got elected back in.
Perfect.
He came back and he was there. And then eventually the city council made him mayor of Cincinnati for a year.
I love that.
Yeah, he was just like so good at it. He also, though, was doing like local journalism, a bunch of other different stuff. And in 1991, Springer created the show, The Jerry Springer Show.
Yes.
Now, this is a daytime talk show that covers topics that Springer felt extremely, extremely strongly about. He was aiming for that Oprah market, but also like he wanted to be like a daytime reporter. He wanted to do spotlight pieces. He wanted to have discussions. And if you go watch early Jerry Springer, same thing with like Phil Donahue, a lot of these times the early talk shows were really about like, we're doing a deep dive.
Yeah.
Honey, we're having on audience, we're having on guests. Like the way some podcasts will like highlight a topic and go into guests, like that's what daytime talk shows were supposed to be.
Okay, so are you going to tell me what happened?
Yeah, so he would have people on to cover things like politics, drug use, racism, gun violence. The show did well enough to garner local ratings.
Yeah.
It did well enough to get picked up by NBC.
Okay.
But after 3 years, it was facing cancellation.
Boo.
It wasn't doing well. So they revamped the show.
Oh,
They
did
changed
they?
it.
My teenagers goth, baby.
They
Look out.
stopped having on like experts in that sort of way. They stopped having on these deep discussions. They started having regular people, quote, regular people.
Yeah.
Mainly lower income people from lower income regions of the United States. And they were brought on the show. And the entire episodes were designed to take these people from the middle of nowhere and confront them with topics that they were known to be taboo.
Yeah.
Affairs, homosexuality, transgenderism, racism, obesity, disability, and more and more and more. And then the fights would start.
And then the fights.
But the big thing is that Jerry Springer and his producers leaned into heavily the freak show aspect.
Also, what you were saying earlier about how, like, in the early freak shows, they would go and, like, point at them and be like, look at you. And then they always did that on Jerry at the, like, very end, right? Like, right before the stripper pole, they'd hand the mic out to the audience. And people would be like, oh, to the lady in blue, you look like a bag of shit.
Yeah.
Just want to let you know.
No, they would do that completely. And on top of that, the whole point of the show was these people who would be either, you know, rednecks or be considered ghetto or just be from poor areas would be put out up there to who they would then act out a character. And then the crowds would jeer at them and yell, like you're saying, of like, fuck you. I just remember watching Jerry Springer and the frothing of the mouth of the crowds.
Yeah.
Of how much they hated the people on stage. And like, that was a subsect of all of this. Was like, it was that moment, I think it's from was it 1984? The moment of rage. It was like, here's the thing. I remember as a kid, for me, the Jerry Springer episode that I remember more than anything else. I remember the fights, I remember all that stuff. But I remember our local station would play Jerry Springer sometimes in prime time.
Okay.
And it was a special episode where Jerry Springer confronts the Klan.
I know it. Yep.
And I remember watching that episode, and I remember being so mad. Because these Klan morons get up there, and they got their hoods on. I just remember this one guy just yelling about black people hair. Because the one person in the audience is like, you're an idiot racist. Yeah. And there's no difference between black people and white people. And he was like, the black hair follicle is hollow. The white follicle is full. And I was just like, what does that have to do with fucking anything? I remember sitting at home just being so mad. But like, that was the design of the show. Get me mad. so I stayed through the commercial break.
Yeah.
Get me mad, so I tune in next week. Get me mad because that way I'll stick around because this person might get hit with a chair.
Also,
hopefully their comeuppance will come to them.
Yeah, you do hope for that.
Yeah.
Also, you're describing how everyone's pop-up got addicted to Fox News.
It's 100% how everybody's pop-up got addicted to Fox News. But also what this did at the beginning was it wasn't aimed so much at people with physical and mental disabilities as much because it was really just the coastal elites
Yeah.
laughing and daytime people laughing at these poor fucking idiots.
Yeah.
Especially aimed at ones with accents from the South and especially aimed for ones at the Midwest. And then they could pull forward and go, and then guess what? Here's the freak show feel. I'm not them.
Yeah.
But the extra spin on this time, what Springer did that's different versus the old medieval freak shows and the 1840s ones is Jerry Springer let them apply.
Yeah.
Meaning Jerry Springer and his producers, they didn't go out looking for people.
No.
Those people came to them because they targeted narcissists.
Yeah.
Who at that time did not have a little trauma box with a camera that they could yell into and broadcast their face to the world.
Oh, wait. Are you describing yourself now?
Yes, I'm 100% describing myself.
No, you would have been on Jerry Springer. You know what I was thinking when you're like,
Yeah.
oh, they didn't have to go and search. They'll show up to them. When we were still living in South Philly and all of our neighbors, okay, we lived on like this one small block in South Philly, and all the neighbors once a year, they never invited us, which was rude.
No, they did. They did invite us.
Okay.
I was like, but there was they would rent a bus.
Yeah,
and I was
they
like,
would. Our neighbors would get together. It
and I
was like a
I'm
block
not-
party.
And I was like, I'm not getting on a bus with you guys for 2 days.
They would get all their money together, rent a bus, and then as an entire block, go to the Steve Wilkos show. And it was like the highlight of the year. And then when they came back, it was like, I'll never forget, is like the bus parked at the end of the block and they would all stream off and they all got their Steve Wilkos shirts on.
So let me explain who Steve Wilkos is because some of our listeners won't know.
Oh.
So that's the thing you have to remember is so Jerry Springer, it was the fights became very, very famous.
Yeah.
And to the point where it became expected. Physical fights.
Not yelling.
So what you would
Well,
have a lot
yelling.
of times, let me just give an example of an episode.
Okay, go ahead.
A guy and a girl are sitting on the stage.
Yep.
And then they're talking about how much they love each other. And then, ladies and gentlemen, but guess what? He has a secret girlfriend.
Oh, no.
And then comes out a girl named, and they're all wearing like hoochie mama dresses, very
yeah.
short. And the guy is dressed.
Dresses from a bag.
Yeah, all of them are really bad. And then the second the secret girlfriend comes out,
She comes out running.
She comes out running,
Fists.
and they just start beating the shit out of each other and being pulled apart by security. And the security, for the most part, were larger, bald white men.
Yeah.
And like really muscle, like black guys in like black shirts.
Yeah.
They'd pull them apart as they're kicking and scratching and screaming and doing all this different stuff. So this became so popular that eventually they added in sound effects.
Mm-hmm.
Where as the one would enter the stage, you would hear literally a fight bell go ding, ding, ding. And then they would start beating the shit each other, throwing chairs, all this different shit as the crowd's going crazy. And the thing is a lot of this is staged.
Yeah.
A lot of this is fake, but a lot of this plays into the zeitgeist because, again, you have to make decisions as an audience member. Someone on the stage is good. Someone on the stage is bad. They're having a fight. Someone has to win.
Yeah.
And this gets played into this. Steve Wilkos was the head of Jerry Springer's security.
Yeah.
And over time, Steve himself became a character on Jerry Springer, so much that Steve then eventually got his own spinoff where he was also doing basically the Jerry Springer show with even more fighting.
Yeah, it was
but
basically just
Steve
fights.
no longer was the one pulling them apart.
Yeah.
He had a whole gaggle of new guys.
Yeah.
But this...
And our neighbors loved it.
Well, everybody did. Because, again, this is all about making you, the listener, the viewer, feel better. Again, there, but for the grace of God go I. Instead of looking at somebody and saying, oh, isn't it inspiring that they were able to overcome all this adversity? I wonder what I can do with my place of privilege. Instead, you look at them and go, these freaks think they're as good as me. And that's what the whole point of this.
Yeah.
The whole build of these shows. And slowly, between Jerry Springer and also Howard Stern, because Howard Stern had his own...
It's interesting I knew Jerry Springer like once in a while I watched it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't something I really liked. And I definitely didn't like Stern. So like these are things that like I only know
So
from,
I
like,
grew up with Stern. I grew up
Yeah.
listening to Howard Stern because my dad really liked Howard Stern, and like so I would always hear what I called the bus hour,
Okay.
which was from 7 a.m. to 8. That was when I'd be supposed to be waiting for the bus and all those things. So sometimes when it was cold, I'd be in the car and my dad would be listening to Howard Stern. He would turn it off if it got like too crazy because sometimes like Stern would get too sexual. But like Stern had this, I can't remember what he called him, but basically it was a bunch of people. There was Hank the Angry Drunken Dwarf. There was Beetlejuice, who was a man who also had like disabilities. He would just have these people on, and that like he would be like play around with them.
Yeah.
It was like his little gang. And it was that way he would lean in of being like, no, we're being nice when we flew them out to New York. We're doing all these different things. They want to be on TV. It's like, yeah, but like you're putting them on there for a very specific reason.
Yeah.
And what the reason he's doing is he was milking them for content. Howard Stern still does have, but had at that time a 4-hour radio show that he needed to fill.
Yeah.
We do an hour to 2-hour show once a week.
Yeah.
He had a 4-hour daily radio show 5 days a week that had to cover the entirety of most of the United States at that point. He was being played syndicated across the United States. And so he needed to fill time. So what did they do? People remember the porn stars, people remember the rock stars, but he had a lot where he would bring in people where the job was for these people to stand there and be mocked.
Yeah.
And it was 100% Stern knew what he was doing. All these different people, and Springer did the same thing. Springer would go on the Stern show. They were friends. They'd
Best
go back
buds.
and forth. This became part of the culture, though. It's called Crash TV.
Okay.
It's the idea, though, of you create this format of just like chaos and weirdness, but a big part of it is pointing and going, look at this weird look at these weirdos. Aren't they fucking weird? Don't they deserve what they get? It's reverse Joel Osteen. Joel Osteen says you're doing well because God loves you.
Yeah.
You're doing great because God loves you. It's because, you see, you've been blessed by the Lord, which is why you need to bless me with 10%. Stern and Springer say, look at these freaks. Isn't there something, maybe they did something wrong. Now, Springer and Stern, to their credit, also would have segments where they would push and say, like, listen, there's no homosexuality isn't evil, transgenderism is evil, all these different things aren't evil, but that isn't after they played up
Yeah.
and into the tropes a
Oh,
lot.
they need to exploit them first.
Yes, the
for the content.
exploitation was huge.
Yeah.
And they were milking them.
I really don't like that milking is our main
But
term.
this
in
is going to be the
episode.
term because remember,
I
this
know.
episode is about what?
Lolcows.
Exactly. This strategy, though, while initially looked down on, Stern and Springer in particular were considered gutter trash.
Yeah.
Because look what they were putting in front of the American people.
Mm-hmm.
It became one of our chief forms of entertainment. Reality TV takes off.
Yeah.
Reality TV at first was supposed to be mini documentaries, but what they realized is reality TV is very, very good at making heroes and villains and pushing them up. But even better, though, a specific channel, the Learning Channel.
TLC, where we learn stuff.
Yeah, which used to be cover things, like insanely like smart things, like literally
you would learn
history,
stuff.
science, mathematics,
how it's made. I don't think it was
all
on
these
there.
different
I don't know.
things. The Learning Channel, they turned and they became a reality-based television show. The History Channel became a reality-based television show. For the History Channel, you and I...
History Channel, aliens, ancient aliens.
Yeah,
baby.
and Swamp People.
That's on History?
Yeah,
Oh my
Swamp
God.
People was History Channel. Ice Road Truckers was History Channel. Pawn Stars was History Channel. You and I talk about it all the time because you and your dad used to say this to each other,
What?
which is for years. Your dad would walk in the room, you'd be watching History Channel, and your dad would say, is Hitler still losing? You'd say, Hitler's still losing on History Channel.
Yeah.
And one day, Hitler stopped losing on History Channel because instead we had to talk about ancient aliens.
Yep.
And the point of the Ancient Alien show is not to make you believe in ancient aliens. It's to make you look at lunatics who believe in ancient aliens and feel smarter than them
Yeah.
until eventually you stop watching history.
And you don't. And
Same
then
thing with the
Hitler's not
Swamp
losing
People.
anymore.
And then Hitler's not losing anymore. One day Hitler stopped losing on TV, and we started moving our history content to YouTube. And then one day YouTube demonetized anyone who was saying Hitler or mentioning Nazis. And then suddenly these things start happening where now look where we are. But on the TLC, they went similar but that different route. I wrote down the most popular shows from TLC.
Ooh, let me guess.
Hold on. And the way I based the popularity was how many seasons they had to run.
Oh, okay.
Okay? And so this isn't in any sort of general order, but go ahead and name me some
Okay.
The Learning Channel.
The Learning Channel. Okay, so
This is original programming for them.
oh God, I feel like it's gonna be John and Kate plus 8.
Yeah, they're on there.
Nailed it. Okay.
Which their whole show was they had 8 children in one go.
Yeah.
And their relationship was falling apart.
It did fall apart. It
Yeah.
ended very poorly.
Yeah, but the thing is, the big point was look at these weird freaks that had as many kids the way a dog has kids.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Then I would say there was that the evangelical family. I forget their name.
Here Comes Honey Boo Boo.
Okay, I forgot about Honey Boo Boo. Yeah, Here Comes Honey Boo Boo. That was gonna be a killer. That's gonna be real popular.
Yeah.
The mom stole all the money and did meth. Honey Boo Boo got no money for college.
Yep.
Real sad.
Yeah.
Fuck. What else was on TLC? The Duck Dynasty.
Duck Dynasty was a different channel.
Ah.
I'm gonna go. I can only get down my
Okay,
list.
go ahead.
My 600-pound life.
Oh right, with that little
Hugely
doctor
popular.
guy.
Hugely popular. Which is just again showing people who are morbidly obese.
Mm-hmm.
For the entertainment of people who aren't.
Yeah.
To feel better that they aren't 600 pounds. 19 Kids and Counting.
I think that's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah.
That's the one with the
Duggars.
The Duggars. Yeah, that's the Duggar family.
Again, look at these religious freaks.
Yeah.
At least we're not them. Here Comes Honey Boo Boo, which is, hey, look at these people. They're poor and dumb.
Yep.
The Little Couple.
Oh shit! I forgot about that
Yep,
show. That
yeah.
had a lot of
They had a lot of
spin-offs.
spinoffs on that one.
Yeah.
Long Island Medium.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Which I included because remember, a lot of carnivals used to have tarot card or the
Yeah.
crystal ball ladies, and this is literally, we're building a carnival. When I was looking through the reality shows on TLC, but also shows that they purchased, one that caught me
Yeah.
with the freak show, Monteith.
Got it.
There's literally a show called I Am the Elephant Man.
Oh no, guys.
Yeah.
On the nose.
On the nose.
Trunk.
Now, this same thing that's happening all across cable also happens on broadcast,
Okay.
on primetime.
Prime time.
Because I want you to think about what the early 2000s.
Oh man.
What was a show? Who was a lady that you and I talk about all the time who singers are terrified of?
Oh, Kelly Clarkson.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Kelly Clarkson, though, to
Kelly
me,
Clarkson starts warming up to one of your songs.
Yeah, you
gotta get out. You gotta get out
She's
there.
gonna destroy it.
Send a
crush
cease
you.
and desist. She's about to crush your
She's
song.
about to do your song in a way that you're never gonna be able to cover.
I'm about to buy Kelly Clarkson's album cover of your song. I'm not listening to you no more.
But here's the thing: Kelly Clarkson wasn't the most popular part of American Idol,
No, Simon Cowell.
but specifically Simon Cowell during the open auditions.
Yeah, being mean to everybody.
And the one that broke the mold for all of them was William Hung. William Hung was an Asian man who, like, I couldn't find if he was diagnosed with anything in particular, but he sang the song She Bangs by Ricky Martin.
Oh, right. I
and
remember
it's
this.
incredibly offbeat. It's incredibly out of tune.
Yeah.
And it became super viral.
Yeah.
It went viral across the internet, and it was people mocking, because a lot of people assumed that he had Down syndrome. Because of his look, because of the way he speaks, he has a thick accent, all these different things. Nobody gave a shit who won season 3 of American Idol.
Yeah.
Nobody cared. William Hung, who didn't even make it, I think he might have made it on the actual show just again because he was a ratings driver, but like he was the one who got dragged out and that people would mock to feel better about. And this is part of our culture. While all of this is happening in America, another revolution is happening on the web.
Okay.
On the internet, something has changed,
What?
which is in the early 2000s, for the first time, we are now able to share videos with each other
Gross.
through Real Player and Windows Movie Maker and on forums and on other places. Viral videos become born. And that's what we're going to talk about, the first person that was attempted to be milked.
Oh, God. I cannot with the milking references. Oh, my God.
We'll be right back right after this. Even if you think you're immortal, everybody's got to go to the doctor sometimes. Make it easy on yourself with ZocDoc. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors and click to instantly book an appointment. From mental health to dental health, primary care to urgent care, and tons more, ZocDoc has the doctor you're looking for. You can filter search results for doctors who take your insurance, are located nearby, specialize in specific needs, and are highly rated by other patients. I have used ZocDoc in the past, and it is so easy to get access to local doctors. I even found one that was in walking distance of my house. And here's the best thing. I didn't have to actually ask Mrs. P to help me do it. I could do it all myself with all of their easy search filters. Even if you need a doctor ASAP, ZocDoc makes it happen. Typically, you'll get an appointment within 24 to 72 hours of booking, and you can even score same-day appointments. Stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/tabs to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/tabs. ZocDoc.com/TABS. Okay.
We're here.
This next segment, I just want to. I know we've probably gone a little bit more darker and like more risque than we usually do, especially talking about Howard Stern and Jerry Springer in the last segment. But if you are listening with kids, or in your car speaker, this might be the time to turn this episode off.
Yeah.
And wait until you have headphones. I just want to throw that out there, just because the first part's going to sound innocent, and then we're going to talk about Chris Chan.
Okay, I don't know who that is, but I have been told that there is a content warning on this.
Yes, exactly. And that's exactly where I'm putting this right now.
Okay.
Is they are going to be this? It's going to get dark, and then we're going to go and have a general discussion about this stuff. So let's go ahead and start before Chris Chan, though.
All right.
And what that is one of the first viral videos to burn across the internet.
Sure.
And that is Star Wars Kid. Do you know who Star Wars Kid is?
No.
You don't know who Star Wars Kid is?
No.
For real?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. I feel like I should have actually pulled up a video for you. But you can just go ahead and Google.
Describe it, to
Okay.
me.
Basically what happened is this. There is in November 4th, 2002, a 15-year-old French-Canadian high school student named Ghislaine Raza was playing around in his high school's television studio. Now, he didn't go to a shitty Catholic school like you. Yep, that's the video. You just pulled it up.
So he has a nice studio.
It's a nice studio for 2002. There's a black curtain. He's a larger kid, and he's swinging around on the video. That pole is actually a golf ball retrieval stick.
Oh, okay.
Okay? So he's swinging this around. It gets kind of manic after a little bit because he's acting like it's a double-sided lightsaber.
Okay, cool.
Because this is shortly after Star Wars Episode 1 came out. And everybody thought Darth Maul was really cool. Darth Maul, he's got everything. He's got spikes on his head. He's got red and black skin.
There was a lot of marketing around that guy for someone who, I never heard from again.
Yeah, well, he dies in the movie. He just shows up.
Bummer.
He's like, I'm the Phantom Menace. And then he gets cut in half and falls apart. And then they spend years figuring out a way how he didn't die so they could bring him back so we could actually have a really cool fight scene with Obi-Wan.
More of those
listen,
dual
let me
lightsabers.
tell you something. They did some pretty cool work with Darth Maul when it came to all the secondary side stuff. And I can't wait to raise our son on that story.
Oh, okay.
It's really fucking cool. And it does teach you a lot about rage and how you shouldn't lean into it because eventually rage will destroy you completely.
What? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's strange that you would like a storyline like that.
I want to break the cycle.
This video has 38 million views.
Yes, because that video was not supposed to be on the internet.
Okay.
As you're seeing it, as you're watching it, you can agree with me that Raza isn't athletic. He's not impressive. He's just a kid swinging a stick.
Yeah.
He made the video like most kids who make a video, right?
Yeah.
He just goes and makes it. It was like the same way people would do back in the time where you be in a store. Remember being a kid and you go into a store that shows you're on camera?
Yeah.
It's the, hey, don't shoplift from us. You're on camera.
And you
that
dance.
thing. And you go, oh my God, look at us. We're so cool. It's the same thing. It's the same idea. It's 2002. Cameras weren't everywhere.
Does everybody else flip them the bird? I always flip the cameras of the bird.
Oh, yeah. You're one of them kids. Because you're a bad kid.
Yeah,
you were a bad kid.
I know. I'm still a bad kid.
But he
I like
just
to commit crimes.
He's just playing around and he's playing out a little fantasy, right? He watched back the tape. He thought that was fun. And then eventually that tape accidentally got left in a basement.
Okay.
I don't know if it was his high school basement or a church basement or somewhere else, but somebody else found the tape.
Okay. And their thought was put it on the internet.
No, their thought was, this is so funny, let me show it to a classmate. And then let me
Okay.
show it to another classmate. And then let me show it to another classmate. And eventually one of those classmates is like, oh, I know how to digitize this. I can just make it a file and then everyone in the school can see it.
Okay. So now
And
we're
then-
online bullying.
Which is American Pie. It's the
Yeah.
movie American Pie. So that's what happened. It gets digitized and it gets sent out to everybody in the school. And then somebody then uploads it to a forum.
Mm-hmm.
It was uploaded around April 14th, 2003 with the title jackass_Star Wars _funny.wmv.
Okay.
Now, I know you watched it on YouTube,
Yeah.
where it was viewed 38 million times.
Yeah.
It's actually closer to 1 billion times, if not more.
1 billion times for that video?
Yeah. Raza was renamed the Star Wars Kid by the internet because most people didn't actually just see the video of him swinging that.
Okay.
Most people saw edits where people with digital editing software wanted to show off what they were able to do. And people realized, oh, I can make the stick lightsabers.
Yeah.
I can add the Star Wars training ball and have it shoot lasers at him, and he's blocking the lasers.
Yeah.
I can put TIE fighters in there. Oh, look, we can do this whole thing. I can clip him into other different videos.
Yeah.
And he became a meme. But it was a mockery meme. People were downloading it, editing it, adding in extra jokes, and then in the comments, people were commenting on Raza's appearance. Again, they weren't viewing him as Raza anymore. He's
Yeah.
not this kid. He's not a 15-year-old. He is Star Wars Kid. Star Wars Kid is now its own content. We can now get more laughs. Oh, I can show I'm a better editor. People were using his video because you could then compare editing styles between each other.
Oh.
So on places like 4chan, the Something Awful forums, and others, he starts to spread. He just starts to show up in all these different places, and he's getting shared more and more and more, and people are using it for clout. Look what I can do to this video. And then on top of that, people are also making jokes about his appearance. They're making threats. They're saying he should kill himself. They are going on. People are trying to find and dox him. People are going through all these different things because, again, it's now slowly turning into a mob.
Yeah.
Raza eventually leaves school for a time.
Yeah.
For a couple of years, I believe he basically is homeschooled. He eventually comes back for his senior year, and then he graduated from that high school, and then he graduated from law school. But he spent years denying or even hiding from the fact that he was Star Wars Kid. It wasn't until he was adult many years later he came forward because he wanted people to know that what online bullying could do. So like by 2013, it was like 10 years later, he had a little bit of disassociation from it.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we call it we just focus on, oh no, this is online bullying. This is online bullying. No. This was the internet trying desperately to milk somebody for content so they could then build, hey, this way more people come to my website. Oh, come to my website and come see these different things. Oh, this way they'll come check out, instead of going to E-Bomb's World, come to this forum. Instead of going to this place, go to this one. Oh, we have all the best, Star Wars Kids memes. Come over here. Even before people knew how to make money, they knew how to generate clout. They knew how to generate engagement, and they didn't have to show their face. They could show his.
Yeah.
And that's where it starts. And the thing is people had actually reached out to Raza and tried to get him to do interviews, all these different things. And he knew, and he stayed away from them then.
Yeah. Smart.
Because in his words, he said, I'm going to be shown as a circus act freak show situation.
Yeah.
He knew at 15 to just hide,
No.
to stay away from the internet, to take it back. But since that moment, other people don't recognize that they are in this viral trap.
Yeah.
Other people, since the Star Wars Kid, think, oh, no, they're not making fun of me. No, I have total control over this situation. No, they actually like me. They're making jokes with me.
Okay.
And that's where the true nature of a lolcow comes from.
Okay. So they think they're in on it, but they're not.
They're being manipulated.
Yeah.
And they think that they're actually the manipulators.
Okay.
And that in many of these situations, they believe the person who is being used for content and is generating views and money for other people, they believe that they are actually the one deciding what's going on.
Okay.
Which brings us to Chris Chan.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to refer to this person as Chris Chan. Chris Chan is a high-functioning autistic trans woman from Virginia who has gone by many different names.
Okay.
But they're mostly known as Chris Chan. I'm going to be using she, they pronouns moving forward just because it's going to be easier. And in some cases, we're going to do a couple jumps in back and forth. But the biggest thing you need to know about Chris Chan is currently a 43-year-old high-functioning autistic trans woman.
Okay.
She, when she was younger, she wrote a webcomic around 2000 or so called Sonic Chew.
Like for Sonic the Hedgehog?
Yes.
Oh, no.
It was a mashup character of Sonic the Hedgehog
Okay.
and Pikachu
Oh, no.
that are mashed together. It's basically just a yellow Sonic.
Mm-hmm.
So remember in the video that you and I made together?
I was just going to say, is this original content?
Yes, this is OC. This
no,
is Sonic
because I
OC.
learned what OC is, and I was like, no, I don't understand, okay?
Yeah, and that's where...
And then lots of people started saying that I need to learn all kinds of other things.
Yes, and here we are 3 years later, you're now doing it.
No.
You're now learning who Chris Chan is.
So Chris Chan has to do with Sonic OC.
Yeah,
Okay.
because there is a weird thing on the internet, especially with autistic people, where they are like really drawn to Sonic.
Okay.
And like that's Sonic OC, and there's a lot of like fan forums, and there's just like a lot of different ways that like to interact with this content.
Sure.
And so there is a lot that gets pulled in there. Now, there's a lot of information about how neglected and abused Chris Chan was as a teenager.
Okay.
I'm not going to get into most of that.
Thank you.
Because in 2007 is where the story really starts for our purposes. The internet discovers Chris Chan in 2007 on 4chan, the Something Awful forums, and Encyclopedia Dramatica. They all created pages and started accounts mocking Chris Chan.
Okay.
Chris Chan is actually both this person's name and a self-insert character from the Sonic Chew webcomic. So in the Sonic Chew webcomic, in the first 2 issues, it's really focused on Sonic Chew and his best friend, Chris Chan.
Got it.
This is a fantasy of somebody who has friends and is loved.
Yeah.
That's what this is. It is a sad, poorly drawn comic strip.
Okay.
That is being uploaded to the internet. People started mocking the shit out of Chris Chan. They started mocking the shit out of the comic, and then they started taking pictures of Chris Chan and other things that they started loading onto the internet.
Okay.
Because around this time is right when YouTube shows up.
Okay.
2006 is when YouTube starts to take off. So Chris Chan starts making YouTube content, all these different things. They're just making content and uploading it, and people are gobbling it up, and it's doing well. It's doing better than other people who should be doing great.
Yeah.
People with charisma, people with talent, people who aren't getting any, because there aren't legit psychopaths who are now making whole pages of content and devoting their days into asking, what's Chris Chan up to? People start to hunt and stalk Chris Chan both in real life and on the internet.
Oh.
They start tracking down personal information about Chris Chan. They start to figure out the local game stores that Chris Chan goes to. They figure out what college Chris Chan goes to. They pose as people and catfish Chris Chan.
What?
To make Chris Chan believe that they're in a relationship. They then also reach out to other people that know Chris Chan or that are seen in Chris Chan content, and then poison those relationships between them and say, well, do you know about this different things? There is brigades of people,
Okay.
dozens if not hundreds of people who are gang stalking Chris Chan for years. Chris Chan's entire life is
When
being...
did this happen? What years?
This starts from 2007 through 2011 is like the first chunk. And again...
So these people are still in society. Is what I'm.
These are
thinking.
faceless people on the internet hiding behind names on these forums
But
don't actually hold on, who don't
okay.
actually have their faces out there.
Yeah.
Who are just saying, "Look at this freak! Look at this freak! Look at this freak!" But Chris Chan isn't. Again, there's no such thing as a perfect victim.
Yeah.
And victims can also be abusers, and that's where we get into the weird thing with this one, because Chris Chan doesn't help themselves, because at the same time, Chris Chan's obsession, their autistic like hyperfixation, is getting a girlfriend.
Okay.
And they're awkward, and they don't know how to do that. And so they keep going, and they're following pickup artist bullshit.
Oh, no.
And they're also posting horrific shit about, because again, they live in Virginia, and they've been raised Southern Baptist or whatever. So they're posting awful shit about homosexuals, about gay people. They're posting awful shit about all this other stuff. So at the same time, there's this like weird thing where it's like, oh, we're mocking a conservative who also hates women, who is harassing women, but we're doing it because they're a freak and because we can punch down at them.
Yeah.
So it's that idea of you feel good watching the Klansmen on the Jerry Springer show.
Yeah.
And you sit there and you see the rest of the Jerry Springer audience saying, look at these fucking freaks. But you're not once asking, why is this person doing this?
Yeah.
Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
There's never a break there. And so Chris Chan starts to get banned from public locations like different stores and gets banned from churches and things like that for trying to basically like pick up women.
Oh.
Like he's hitting on women. He's like all these different, she's hitting on women, all these different things. And this is but part of this is also played into by the trolls who are also reporting Chris Chan.
Yeah.
Because Chris Chan is going to these different forums because Chris Chan thinks right now it's normal for people who are isolated and alone to turn to forums to find community.
Yeah.
And these exact forums are the exact place that are being used to mine more information to then harass them more.
Yo, this is crazy sick behavior.
Yeah.
Because what I was thinking and kind of saying out loud is that the people that are doing this for fun, like this is their hobby. Me, gardening.
Yeah.
Me, baking. The hobby, thing I do outside of work and family stuff.
Yeah.
Their hobby is doing deep dive research on a person that they don't like to hurt them more.
And again, Chris Chan's not a politician.
Yeah.
Chris Chan's not a community leader. Chris Chan's not a business owner. Chris Chan's just some person that in many of their cases, they saw one or two things. Well, that person's kind of cringe. And then someone shows up and goes, oh, you think they're cringe? Well, look at this horrible thing.
Yeah.
And then this person who, like, if you were at the store, you'd be like, well, that guy was weird.
Yeah.
That would be it.
What, us at Target?
Yeah.
Like,
us at line of Wawa?
Cashier's pretty weird. Oh, well.
Listen, I mean, Chris Chan also has, and it's has the vibes of the awkward person you meet at the anime convention.
Okay.
It's that sort of thing. I say like the strip mall weebos. Like somebody who's super into anime and swords.
Is that anime?
Yeah, it's like anime, but like that kind of like emo mix, like anime 2006 type of vibe of like hanging out at, the 7-Eleven and then going to the strip mall to go hang out.
It's that guy that does the fedora guy.
Yeah,
video?
Milady, like that type of
guy.
shit. But it's all that. It's that type of cringe. But Chris Chan at that time was like all of that combined, and so they're like, we have the personification, and we can nail this down, and we can keep making fun of this.
And he's not perfect because he's also has his faults, and sounds like he's not a great. She's not a great person either. So then they feel vindicated.
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
And so this becomes this huge feedback loop where Chris Chan makes content, trolls use the content, Chris Chan reacts to the trolls gleefully laugh. It just loops and loops and loops. Around early 2011, Chris Chan states that she was a tom girl with gender dysphoria, with many people claiming online that this was a lie. That Chris Chan was actually using this to be able to get a chance to solicit lesbian women on the internet and in real life.
Oh, okay.
This is the early of the trans people are trying to enter our bathroom.
Yeah.
And so this, again, is a person who is going through something, who is trying to put this out there. And again, this is this way. And I understand. I can already feel people writing this. Listen, here's the thing. I got this information from a wiki that is being run by people who are still currently harassing this person.
Really?
It has over 2,500 articles.
It's 2025.
It's a total wiki that they are currently still running. And so, like, y'all can point, oh, you didn't cover this little minute. This is high level. I don't give a fuck about this person. This person, Chris Chan, whatever they are, like, fucking whatever. Like, they could walk past me and I wouldn't even fucking notice them. That's it. That's how we should be treating people most of the time. When it came down to this, though, and Chris Chan is going insane.
Yeah.
This entire time. So 2011 comes out. It says that they're
going insane or being driven insane.
Both.
Yeah.
In 2016, Chris Chan stated that her name was Christine.
Okay.
So her official name is Christine Chandler at this point.
Okay.
And later, Chris Chan, and then it also says fully that she's trans, that actually she came out as trans in 2014. Chris Chan then goes further nuts and starts stating that her name is now actually the goddess Blueheart. And that she is actually a goddess herself. And she starts calling herself, her followers, the devotees of Chris Chan's Sonichu. Now, she didn't actually have any mostly real followers in her fake little cult. Most of her cult followers, again, are trolls mining her for content.
Did she start drinking colloidal silver?
No, she did not start drinking colloidal silver.
Get better at running a cult.
Over time, she goes deeper insane, and she starts to begin to preach that her comics were real.
Oh.
And
the Pikachu Sonic comics?
Yeah, the Sonic comics are real, and that all OC is real.
Oh.
And that actually there's going to be a dimensional merge soon.
Okay.
And that...
so she's definitely drinking the colloidal silver.
But that everyone Sonic OC will come to life, but 41% of all people will die in the dimensional merge.
41%?
41%.
Like the guy with the glove.
Guy with the glove?
With the jewels. Bing, bang, boom.
Oh, Thanos.
Yeah, boom.
You know what? Yeah, you just kind of picked that one apart. It was around that same time. Now, this is where we get to the dark part.
Oh. I felt like that a lot of this was already really dark.
No, this is where we get to the part where people feel vindicated making fun of Chris Chan.
Okay.
August 1st, 2021, Chris Chan was arrested on charges of incest.
Oh no. Okay. I don't like that.
She was charged by the Richmond Police Department of having sex with her 78-year-old mother, Barbara, who suffers from dementia.
Oh, okay. All right. I didn't know.
I'll give you a minute.
I didn't know that's where this was. I thought we were talking about Sonic the Hedgehog Pikachu's. Okay.
Now, again, I'm not going to spend time defending Chris Chan.
No. Okay.
But I'm also going to point to the fact that these charges came in from the same people that have been gang stalking Chris Chan, because Chris Chan was having conversations with people and telling them that this had happened. And then those conversations were being leaked to forums, and then those forums contacted the police, which began the investigation. Okay. So again, we're back in the feedback loop. Yeah. We're back in the feedback loop. And this is where I first heard of Chris Chan, was just that this person had been arrested.
Whoa.
I'd never heard of them. I had a wife.
Yeah.
I would go out. I would leave my house. I would drink. I would have fun. I would go, if I got bored during the summer, I'd go tubing with my buddies. Yeah. I wouldn't go fucking sit all day and be like, oh, I wonder what a fucking trans woman who plays Magic the Gathering and likes Pikachu too much is doing today. I would just leave my fucking house, you losers. But Chris Chan was jailed and off and on between jails and mental institutions for 2 years awaiting trial.
Okay.
The shocking part was eventually she was released from jail in March of 2023. Her lawyer requested an autism disorder of deferred disposition.
Okay.
Basically, they were like, what are we going to do? Mm-hmm. Like, her autism is so bad that, like, keeping her in and out itself is cruel and unusual.
Yeah.
Now, again, there are whole wikis that are dedicated to Chris Chan. The one that I went to is run by Kiwi Farms.
Okay.
Do you know what Kiwi Farms is?
No.
Kiwi Farms is one of the places that has really taken the term lolcow.
Okay, wait. I'm gonna just pick something apart here.
Yeah.
Farm.
Yeah.
Cows.
Yes.
Did I nail it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's part of it.
Also, I'm so deeply like that whole Chris Chan stuff. That's so fucked up and leaving an awful taste in my like brain right now. And like, it reminds me of what we were talking about when we were watching the Grammys about the perfect victim thing.
Yeah.
It's because like this idea that like if someone is a victim, like everyone expects them to behave perfectly, but also victims can do fucked up shit.
Yeah.
And like, so like the whole thing of like
a molester could have been molested. Like
yeah,
that's like that just
it's like what you could be a victim of, I don't know, interpersonal violence, but then you're going and doing something outside of that. Maybe at work you're being abusive, or you're committing crime somewhere else. Like, I don't know, like there's like this perfection that we require from victims, and then as soon as they don't have it, we're like, well, fuck you then. Yeah. And so like my brain is like, oh, like this person was clearly so abused, but also they are an abuser. Yeah. And so like nobody's right. No, nobody's right. It's all wrong.
It's a bunch of psychos who exist.
Yeah.
Kiwi Farms.
Which is the farm where we milk the Lolcows.
Yes.
Gross.
So
I don't want to know this stuff.
Kiwi Farms runs a site called sonicchew.com.
Okay.
Which is the Chris Chan wiki, and it's the third or fourth result on Google.
Okay.
When you just type in the name Chris Chan. The site has 2,678 articles as of February 4th, 2025, which was yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And it also has a running notation on it that says it's been 46 days since Chris Chan has been spotted in public.
Yo, get a life. Bro, what? They're stalking her outside just like when she was last spotted?
Yeah.
J-Lo doesn't even get this.
No.
That's crazy.
No, that's what I mean. It's like, that's one of the things. It's like, it's
You're stalking a mentally ill person.
Yes.
That's
because they know this mentally ill person can't ever fight back and won't. And because they feel righteous about it.
Yeah.
Because to them, you can't do anything wrong to a criminal. And also, oftentimes,
oh, well,
a
let me
lot
tell you
of
about our criminal justice system.
Listen, 34 felonies. But listen, one of the things that from reading through and scrolling through a lot of this different stuff is like, as Chris Chan came out as trans in 2014 and all these different things, you start to see the bubbling of, on the alt-right, of people being like, oh, wait, look at how these guys are reacting to Chris Chan being trans. We can just attack all trans people.
Oh, because the alt-right people were on 4chan.
Yeah, and on all these different places.
Yeah.
And so a lot of these guys like are like straight up Nazis.
Yeah.
And a lot of these are recruitment tools. And a lot of them are also super young.
Yeah.
And so you have like a mix of like some of these guys are 35, some of these guys on these forums are fucking 12 years old.
They don't have the thing in their front of their
the
brain.
prefrontal cortex
It's
or
not
whatever.
developed yet.
But also they are being told by people that they're cool for doing this. So the peer pressure picks up on it.
Let me be the one to tell you, not cool.
The reason why I brought this up and the reason why I decided to do this topic was actually because of the WWE Royal Rumble.
Okay, the Royal Rumble. You watched it. I didn't.
Yeah. It's my favorite pay-per-view.
It's the best one. We used to do the thing.
We used
with
to do a drawing for it, and I love the Royal Rumble this year sucked. I hated it, but I wanted to watch it because...
Wait, real quick. I just want to discuss how we Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Very. Historically, we'd have a house party. Friends come over.
Yeah.
Because again, friends come over.
Yeah, we had
then
friends.
Then you don't end up on a farm.
Yeah.
On the internet.
Yeah.
So friends come over, and I would. It was my personal move is you get a big barrel of cheese balls, right? And you got to eat the barrel of cheese balls before people get here because we're going to use that barrel.
Yep.
And the way we're going to use the barrel that I've eaten all the cheese balls out of is we're going to put all the Royal Rumble numbers in it, and then everybody picks numbers, and then you bet, and then you fill it up with money in the barrel after you take the numbers out. And then whoever wins the Royal Rumble, if you have their number, you get all the money in the cheese ball barrel. Best party ever.
It was. Yeah.
I get to eat all the cheese balls in anticipation for people coming over.
Yeah.
And then we get to put money in it.
Yeah, I think the last one we did was like right before the pandemic.
Yeah.
And then I think we did one since then, right?
I think one since then,
Yeah, but a lot of it, like we moved further away from our friends, and so it was
Yeah.
difficult to come over. But in the
We're
run
all old, so we're like, I don't want to drive at night.
yeah, also it's not over. Well, actually now they've we didn't want to be done at like Sunday at midnight and then have to drive an hour home. But now I'm looking at them like they're like Saturdays at over at 10. I was like, we could've done
I
it.
could probably go home.
Cody Rhodes, the WWE champion,
Neck tattoo aficionado.
was doing a live event
Okay.
where they were doing a promotion for a Royal Rumble, and it was live streamed to the world.
Okay.
And he was, I think it was in Indianapolis, and so he's at Indianapolis for all these different fans. He's standing on stage, and he's like talking to a microphone, and somebody held up a sign, and he points to it, and he goes, "What does that sign say? Hold it up for me again." And the person held the sign up, and the sign says, "Christine Chandler loves Barb."
That's so fucked up.
Barb is Chris Chan's mom.
I got it.
Yeah.
Context clues.
The internet's reaction to this was, quote, "Cody Rhodes is now part of the lore," because that's how they view it. They don't view it as human beings.
Oh, God. Okay.
They view it as lore. And the thing is about Kiwi Farms is Kiwi Farms has been banned from the internet. It's been chased off the internet a couple times now. It's had interactions with a streamer named Keffels, who we've gone there. They exist. I'm not going into detail about them, but there's just a bunch of different stuff about the ways they've gone about it and how they've been deplatformed and replatformed.
Yeah.
And so it's just this cesspool.
Yeah.
And they're happy about it. They're happy about being a cesspool.
Ugh.
And like, but the thing is from there, other people have grown entire micro industries from it.
Industries?
and I would call it industries. I'm saying it's hundreds of thousands, not millions of dollars can be made from doing this to other people.
Oh.
And like for right here, I'll pull it up here on my screen. But let me just do this so you can kind of half see it. Hold on. And
YouTube videos?
Yeah. This is a channel called Kiwi Tapes.
Okay.
Which I don't know whether or not it's associated with Kiwi Farms directly, but it is called fucking Kiwi Tapes.
Is that what's her name right there?
Yeah, that's Gypsy Rose.
Wow. Okay.
Daniel Larson.
Don't know who that is.
Boogie2988. But if you go through here, this person is making hundreds of thousands of views per video. I mean, they're some of the most popular down here. A year ago, 1.8 million. Talking about Donovan Mayo. I don't know who that is, but the name is TikTok's Dream Degenerate. Leslie Clark, TikTok's Queen of Degenerates. The Diaper Degenerate, Andrew Ditch, $1.5 million. Nova Online, another TikTok degenerate. Lachey Hinton's TikTok's Worst Mother.
Oh.
That's a million views. And all of these are just TikTok personalities, and it just starts with their video being played. And a lot of times it's people coming over and saying, who is this person? And then they go to YouTube, or in this case, they go to Google.
Yeah.
Google fed me this person.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because we're going to get into the next section here about where we're going to be discussing, some other lolcows and other people and how it's kind of changed. But a big part of this is that when you go to Google, these people are all using SEO to become the story.
Oh, man. They're so good at SEO.
Yeah, they are really good at SEO, and they are really good at thumbnails. I mean, look at this shit.
Oh, my God.
These are good thumbnails. I'm just saying it's for what they want to do. But in this case of Amber Lim Reed, that's literally an overweight person that says the scale stopped working. So, I mean, like, these are people.
I think she's from the TLC show.
Oh, is she?
I think she might be one of the TLC peoples.
Yeah. But, I mean, like, this person, Keemstar, and...
Why does that Keemstar? I know that name.
You know that name. You know that name. He's one of the internet drama people from back in the day. The one with the big, long beard.
Right, who always has hair bandana because he had no hair.
Yes, exactly.
Nice. Look at me. I know internet stuff.
He has a podcast with Boogie2988.
I don't know who that is.
Exactly. We'll touch on it briefly.
Okay.
But the podcast is literally called Lolcows.
Oh.
But Kiwi Tapes, another one of these is Turkey Tom.
So these farmers are getting subsidies.
These milkmaids.
Oh, these milkmaids, sorry.
They're milking these people for content. If these people are lolcows and you are getting sustenance from them, if you're paying your mortgage, if you're paying rent, if your car note is being covered because you just love to loathe and tell people how much you hate this person, you're a milkmaid. That's what you are at the end of the day. Don't pretend you're otherwise. Oh, no, I'm a farmer. Sir, your first thing, it would be a rancher.
Sorry.
It would be a rancher.
Oh,
but
man.
you don't keep them in a pen.
Nope.
They're loose in the field. You just pull them in from time to time and pull on the teats a little bit and fill up your bucket, and then you dump it out for everybody else. But do you pasteurize the content? No. Their biggest goal is to make sure that they pick people who are poor enough, mentally ill enough, and just disgusting enough that no one will defend them. That they can do this at will.
Yeah.
And so with that,
This is like the craziest abuser situation I've ever heard of.
And it's a large section of the internet.
Yeah, it's just like it's this abuser mentality of seeking out these victims, and then so many people getting together to continue this abuse.
Yeah. And it's normalized. If you can go to TikTok comments, you can go to YouTube Shorts comments where people you'll see literal children be like, "Oh, this person's a lolcow."
That's crazy.
And we'll talk about it a little bit more just after this.
I need a break.
You
oh
do
my
need
God.
a break.
I need to wash my brain.
Don't worry. After this, you know what we're going to do?
Brainwash.
Brainwash. We're going to watch a little bit of Traitors.
No, oh, you promise?
Yeah.
And we're back.
And we're back.
And we got our brains washed.
We did get our brains
That's
washed.
not true. I just looked at Instagram.
Yeah, but we feel a little better.
You know what? Sometimes a little scroll through the Instagram search clears my brain in a way of like melting it.
Oh,
where I'm
okay.
like, Oh yeah, okay. Brain doesn't work anymore.
Listen. What my Instagram search?
Yours is
horrific.
Yours is a lot different.
Horrific.
Than mine.
It's just like here's
jiggly wiggly jiggly
I'm
wiggly.
like, I don't. Why? Just show me the X-Men. I just want to see the X-Men.
Mine is like, it's weird because some days it's like the weirdest stuff in the world, like AI sludge, and then sometimes it's just like, hey, eating disorder. Yup. It's just I don't know. It's just the weirdest stuff.
But let's talk a little bit more about. This is kind of more of a general discussion about Lolcows.
Let's talk about Lolcows.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my God.
I mean, I do.
When you pitched me this episode, you were like, I had an idea. People have been asking for it. Let's do it. And I was like, Lolcow, how bad could it be? I didn't know.
Well, because, I have this basic thing called empathy for human beings.
Yeah.
So when I see situations like this, I get mad because
Yeah.
I'm like, no, these are people. You're making the world worse every day the way you're doing this.
Yeah.
One thing I did pull up here, which is it's the Lolcow Cycle, but also the Chris Chan Cycle.
The Lolcow. Okay, I'm
That's
looking
what they
at
wrote.
it.
So it starts. We'll start at the
grid.
top. Chris Chan comes back on the internet, posts a new video. Many laughs are had. Optimism about new trolling opportunities arrive. And then a new sweetheart/troll appears. Numerous videos and chats are done. The trolls are skeptical about the latest troll ploy. A saga ends. Numerous documents are leaked. The community analyzes a lot of new information that is revealed. Trolls still divided on opinions. And then leaving the internet. Chris claims they will leave the internet and stick with IRL encounters only, which is in real life encounters only. Trolls cry about dry spells. Trolls also say that Chris has dried up as a Lolcow. And then Chris comes back on the internet. And this is true for so many different people. So I did make a list of some notable ones. Let's start at the top. So Daniel Larson.
I don't know who that is.
Great. Daniel Larson is also someone with mental disability who was very popular on TikTok, especially, and some other places, who would do like jumping jacks. And it was one of those like awkward ones where they're like, I'm doing jumping jacks to end racism. I'm doing jumping jacks for George Floyd.
Oh.
And it became this joke that but again, he didn't know. He doesn't quite understand that people are making fun of him.
Yeah.
He just sees raw analytics. He just sees raw content. He opens up and says, this video got 200,000 likes.
Yeah.
And so there's a difference between like a Daniel Larson or a Chris Chan or that very mindful, very demure. Jules. Like Jules understands the situation and is using it.
Yeah.
And Jules knows to block people who are being dicks.
Yeah.
That when I've gotten into this content creator, influencer world and met more and more of these people, it's so often these people who are famous now and who have these interactions, they have very low self-esteem. And so they're terrified to ever push somebody away because engagement is engagement.
Yeah.
Onision, which is an episode that people wanted us to do early on that I actually pushed back on and said we'll never do.
Yeah.
Or at least until
you
something
started doing
happened.
research on it, and then you got really upset, and then you were like, we're not doing this. And I said, fair
exactly. Onision now has now fallen so far that the only people that interact with Onision are either truly devoted mentally ill people or trolls who are trying to then make 4-hour documentaries about Onision.
Okay, so he's a
Lolcow.
Got it.
The Quartering.
I feel like that's the guy that peed in the basement.
Yes.
Ha! Look, I know
See,
internet
exactly.
stuff.
Well, because you know about it because of Ethan Klein.
Yeah.
Who himself is now becoming a Lolcow.
Yeah.
Because H3H3...
Now that I know what a Lolcow is,
yeah,
the behavior is that of a Lolcow.
exactly. The Quartering is somebody who makes conservative content specifically aimed... was huge on attacking Brie Larson for Captain Marvel, is really big
Still
on...
don't understand that.
But it's because she literally made like 2 comments about, hey, it's crazy how there's so many white reporters here. And then she also I think posted once or twice being like, feminism's great. We should maybe...
Because she is Captain America,
Yeah,
right?
it's Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
And they were like, this is bullshit. Also, it was a woman stepping into a superhero role as they're trying to frame up. But it's the same thing as Black Stormtroopers. All these different things. The Quartering is one of these weird freaks who likes to say that everything is woke now and has been ruined.
Yeah.
But at the same exact time, people, not necessarily on the left or just people in general, know that he himself is a sad person who is constantly now fighting for engagement. And whatever engagement he can get is whatever engagement he'll fucking take. And so a lot of his comments are people trolling him. like people knowing that I think he pooped in his basement drain or something like that.
Yeah, I don't.
It's something
like
weird, but there's these things that come up from their past that people will bring up all of the time to drive them insane. Next, World of T-Shirts.
I don't know who that is.
World of T-Shirts is from TikTok. Again, high-functioning autistic person whose name, I think his name is Joshua Block, who had people liked, they're making wholesome videos at home, got into music, got into DJing, all these different things, moved to New York, got into drinking, got into alcoholism.
I do know who this is.
He wears a captain hat, has glasses.
He gets really drunk, and it's really concerning how much he drinks.
And people legit stalk him. People
Yeah.
legit chase him. So you'll see random videos sometimes of him being chased down the street by people who are just like, there he is, because they don't view him as a person anymore.
Yeah.
He's not a human being. He is a piece of content that you can now interact with in real life. Boogie2988, which there are fucking whole documentaries on what a bag of shit this guy is, but he is an overweight man who built up an online presence over the year, who a lot of people thought was very wholesome, who was, eventually outed for being kind of a bag of shit that, abused fans, abused women, abused all these different stuff. And it's still, but the thing is, it has no discernible skills.
Yeah.
Besides existing on the internet.
But he's the one that has a podcast
With
about
Keemstar.
Lolcows.
Yeah, the podcast is called Lolcows because he's leaning into, well, if you'll sit there and call me a freak, if I threaten to harm myself, all these different things, you'll tune in, and at least then we'll get Google AdSense.
Okay,
at least
so
then
he's Barnum and bailing it.
he and Keemstar,
Yeah.
and the people
They're
around
running
them.
the circus.
Yeah, this is he
Yeah.
thinks he is.
Yeah.
And again, now we're back into the spin of is Boogie using the people that are mocking and attacking Boogie, or are the people mocking, attacking, and Boogie using Boogie?
Yeah.
What part of this toxic, parasitic relationship is going on? Up next, Eugenia Cooney.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Who you can describe her?
She's a woman on the internet. She's started on YouTube, I think, probably some forums. But has a really. I'm not a doctor, but from the outside looking in, has a critical case of anorexia nervosa, and is just documenting it in real time, her slow demise.
Yeah.
From it, and I don't look at that. If she doesn't pop up on my For You page because I blocked her.
Yeah.
I block her on everything.
Again, all of these people I know,
but I know she makes content
Yeah.
because I've seen things about her for sure. And like, now that you've described to me this idea of like what a Lolcow does, like I know that like if something happens with her, she leans into it. So like I know one time it was all over TikTok, maybe last year, the year before, all the years have blended together now. Somebody was like, oh, is Eugenia wearing a diaper? Because I guess it looked like she was wearing a diaper in one of her live streams. And like that can happen. You can lose your ability to control your bowels when you have a really bad eating disorder at that stage of life. And so people were like, oh my God, she's definitely dying. And like she's wearing these diapers now. And so then like after that happened, it was like a huge thing on the internet about it. And then she started making more and more videos where like she would accidentally show her underwear. You know what I mean? So she started feeding into it. So more people would tune in to see if we were going to be able to see if she's really wearing a diaper.
If the analytics say that 5% of your audience really likes seeing you put gameplay footage on your video podcast,
okay,
and that they're the ones subscribing to the Patreon, then you're going to put video game footage.
just maybe smaller, just
Okay.
not the whole screen.
No.
Also, can we really quickly segue about the sheer number of comments of people being like, you don't need to show us playing Balatro. We are already playing Balatro while listening.
Realizing that most people who are watching us on YouTube are second screening us made me feel so happy because we've had so many discussions about what the video aspect of this should be without trying to have a detriment to the audio listeners.
Because we are an audio forward podcast.
We are an audio forward podcast, motherfucker. But that was a big part of it.
Yeah.
But it's 100%. Like she is aware of what gets views, and what gets views gets engagement. What gets engagements gets paid.
Yeah.
Depending on all these different things. Nikado Avocado.
Yup. Okay. Yup.
He just did mukbang videos, and then after like claimed that he actually had a one-up on everybody because he lost all this weight. None of these people have I ever directly interacted with.
Yeah, I've never
all
sat
of
down
these
to watch
people,
a Nikado Avocado video.
Yeah, all of these people have existed because other people have made content mocking them. And that content mocking them became popular enough to then enter into my feed.
Yeah.
I learned about them the same way I read Moby Dick, by a Simpsons joke. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've never read Moby Dick, but I know it's Ahab going after a white whale.
Yeah.
I know Call Me Ishmael. I know these certain cultural contexts about it because it exists out there.
Oh God, I think that it's not so much Moby Dick as it is Mean Girls.
No. Oh yeah. Well, hold on. No, even better.
What?
The sock mogul.
The sock mogul.
The Kardashian.
The
Rob Kardashian.
Rob Kardashian.
Rob Kardashian. There's an episode of 30 Rock where they keep mentioning Rob Kardashian and someone says the sock mogul? How do I know that?
Yeah.
And that's 100%. I've never watched the Kardashians. I know who Rob Kardashian is. Could I pick him out of a lineup? No. But if you ask him what he did, he makes socks.
Yeah.
Why do I fucking know that?
I don't know.
Because the Kardashians are Lolcows.
Mm-hmm.
It's their whole thing. You start looking at how we as people just literally go in and go, oh, there's money to be made fucking making fun of this one.
Yeah.
Kanye West is now a Lolcow. Used to be talented, is now a literal insane person that everybody takes time attacking and making fun of. Alex Jones, Lolcow. Alex Jones is screaming nothing into his... There is a literal conspiracy theory happening that Alex Jones was a part of to overthrow the United States federal government. He is the fucking conspiracy guy. He doesn't know what to say anymore. So he just takes Ozempic and talks into us. We're out here, there's demons. Nobody fucking cares, Alex. Sneeko, another one. These streamers, once you get into streamers,
I don't want to get into streamers.
hold on, but when you get into the streamers like
Okay.
Sneeko, Vouch, Andrew Tate, all these other ones, there is a huge percentage of their audience who not only hate watches them, but also, on top of that, is then creating counter stuff.
Yeah.
How much of misinformation debunking is actually platforming the misinformation itself?
Yeah.
You know, one thing I think about a lot, I have a video I made a while ago on TikTok that got community guideline violated, but was pointing out that all of these guys who make content to debunk MAGA people, to debunk flat earthers, I'm getting 5 seconds uninterrupted of this person's bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm getting 5 full seconds of ancient aliens garbage. I'm getting 5 full seconds of somebody telling me that gay people shouldn't exist. I'm getting 5 full seconds. And then this other thing shows up. But here's the thing. On other platforms, like on YouTube Shorts, like on Instagram, on these other platforms that aren't TikTok, you know what happens, guys? The fucking thumbnail that shows up is just people wearing MAGA hats.
Yeah.
So suddenly, you have made my feed be full of MAGA hats, and I have to understand the context that you are actually milking the elder millennial. You weird
Ew.
fucking gross people.
Oh, why'd you have to? Come on.
Speaking of milking, Jordan Peterson, Lolcow.
Wait, why would you say? Oh, speaking of milking. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Those who know, know.
Oh no.
Those who know.
I wish I didn't know, but you showed me that tweet.
Yeah. Where
Ugh.
Jordan Peterson thought that the Chinese were literally milking men through fetish content that somebody told him was from China. Ben Shapiro, Lolcow. And his milkmaid is Hassan.
Oh.
J.D. Vance, his career is built
Wait,
on
how
being...
many people are milking Hassan?
Right now?
It's so
a lot.
many people.
They're trying.
Oh my god.
I mean, you look at it, it's Ethan Klein.
Yeah.
It's Destiny.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of alt-right fucks at the same exact time. It's like half of Twitter, depending on what your fucking algorithm is.
Yeah.
All of these people, again, we're just all running around. Everybody's a Lolcow for everybody. There's people who are currently making content about me.
I know.
Hey, guess what? I'm a fucking Lolcow to a couple people.
Yeah.
I don't engage.
Remember that time we went to the farm show? It was like
And the
3 years ago.
prettiest
It was
cow?
the prettiest cow. Do you remember that cow? Oh, can I tell you this? I saw a cow that looked like one of those cartoon butter cows from the 50s. Like it was from a
it
movie.
It should have been on a box.
Yeah,
That's
was
like buttermilk biscuits, and there's a big cow with big doe
and
eyes.
like big eyelash. She was the prettiest cow. I stopped everything. I was like, oh my god. You know, number one, I never been to a farm show before, let alone seeing the prettiest cow.
It wasn't a farm show. It was literally the county fair, and you were weirded out that they had farm animals there. I was like, well, part of the county is farms because it's
Yeah.
Pennsylvania.
Well, the tent that we went in said farm show.
Yeah, that was the farm show part of the county fair.
Okay. Well,
I went there to get on a Ferris wheel, and then you were like, we don't do Ferris wheels.
I'm not getting on no fucking
Yeah.
Ferris wheel.
Yeah, that's part of your lore now. Add it to the wiki.
I think we already talked about how I don't like Ferris wheels.
No, I know we have.
Okay. Don't make a wiki.
Yeah,
I don't want to
that's
be.
how.
I
But
don't
no,
want
but saying with all these different people, like there are whole wikis. There are people whose whole career right now is about writing shit down about Andrew Tate. There's people whose whole career about writing shit down about Jordan Peterson, Ben Shapiro, all these different guys. J.D. Vance, the vice president.
Does Charles Ponzi know that he is my Lolcow? And that I just look to see who's out here Ponzi scheming?
I mean, to be fair, we are also milkmaids when it
Yeah.
comes to guys like Jeremiah the Bull Evans.
Oh, you don't want to milk a bull.
We milked that
Don't
bull.
milk a bull.
We milked that bull, baby. I
Last
grabbed
week's
it.
episode.
I walked up and grabbed it by that one teat, and I just started pulling.
Oh no, they're gonna clip that.
You know they are. That's the point. Because here's the
Stop
thing.
making milk content for these people.
Oh, I'm making milk content.
Stop it.
We're getting milked.
Oh no.
This is not going to be a milk
For the
podcast.
audio
This
listener,
is not our
he
first.
was making a lot of aggressive hand gestures.
When I just want you to know, this is not going to be a milk podcast.
No, it can't be because I don't even like milk.
Milquarius.
Oh no.
I'm not done. JD Vance though is
JD Vance, our vice
our
president.
current vice president, who I'm older than.
You
You're
look a
older
lot
than too.
better.
I look so much
I look
better.
so much better.
Your eyeliner is on fleek.
I
Do people still say
don't
that?
think they say that anymore.
Well, I'm going to say it.
I don't even think I have eyeliner on.
You know what? I was lying. You don't have to.
Oh, okay, sorry.
It's for the content. Just get milked.
I don't want to be milked.
JD Vance through Hillbilly Elegy.
Yeah.
That whole entire thing was basically, yeah, here you go. Fucking make fun of my pillhead mom.
Oh.
Make fun of my upbringing. Make fun of these different things. You please mock it, and then I can defend it, and then we can do a back and forth for this forever. Elon Musk is a Lolcow. Elon pretending he doesn't understand things. Elon acting dumb. Elon jumping up and down like a baby and showing his little tum-tum is Lolcow. So that way you aren't talking about him plugging illegal servers into the fucking OPM offices. Elon Musk throwing the Nazi salute and then us all discussing it for fucking days on end when it was clearly a Nazi salute.
The Roman salute.
That is Lolcow because in that moment we weren't talking about any other different stuff. It's distraction, but it's also part of it because a lot of people on the internet want to talk about the dumb inconsequential shit for the lulls instead of the actual fucking things we need to handle right now because our sky keeps lighting on fire, our cities keep fucking burning down, and everything seems to be slowly turning into poison, including our discourse. Which brings me to the biggest Lolcow of them all, the one who's worked the system more than any other. The literal president of the United States, Donald Trump. Donald Trump, his entire career is being a Lolcow. Donald Trump would go out onto the news and would let the press fucking make fun of him. He would let rich people mock him so that way poor people would think he was on their side. He would go on the Howard Stern show and let Howard and him discuss all sorts of crazy stuff so that way the callers could mock Donald Trump. He would go on WWE so that way he and Vince could pretend like he was the one being made fun of so he could then show more poor people that he is the true viewing of what a rich person should be. He had a roast where the only rule was you weren't allowed to say he wasn't actually a billionaire. Nothing else, not one other thing, was off balance, was outside of the bounds of being able to make fun of him. The only thing you couldn't say was that he wasn't actually rich. He went and did Apprentice where he would be yelled at and screamed at and said, "You're fired." He mocked Obama and said that Obama wasn't actually a U.S. citizen and was the fake president. He went to the White House Correspondents' Dinner where he was openly mocked by Seth Meyers and Barack Obama as he sat there in that crowd and had the entirety of the Washington, D.C. establishment media mock and laugh at him. And he used that. He used all of that to build a media system in parallel with our own. So that way he could point to them and say, they've always done this to me. Look at them. They hate me the same way they hate you. And slowly, the fucking cow put on an apron. And now it's milking all of us. What a fucking episode. That was my Jerry Springer final thought right there.
I felt the need to obviously just let you go. You were
I was on my shit.
You're a preacher mode.
I was on my shit.
You were telling us all a story for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, here's what I have to say. What a crazy episode. Ups and downs.
You're welcome. That's for Katy Perry. That's for Katy Perrying me all those years ago.
Katy Perry, Lolcow.
Yeah.
I don't know that I learned anything good. I just learned.
Oh, you didn't learn anything good.
I only
But you
learned
are
bad.
aware.
Now I'm more aware.
You're more aware.
My horse blinders to the internet keep getting smaller and smaller, is what I'm saying.
Can I tell you what's nuts?
What?
Is the day I turned my camera on TikTok and started yelling, is I was aware of all of this when I started.
Oh my God.
That's the part that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Is I was like, yeah, we can get through it.
Oh no.
But yeah, Ethan Klein, total locale.
Oh gosh.
Let me just close it there. Clip that, fuckers. Okay. No, we still.
I don't know.
No, we're gonna do our shout outs now.
Okay, but
Yeah.
yes, please, let's get to like some good vibes.
No, we just did good vibes.
I feel like we did close on a high for sure.
Yeah, we all feel good, right?
We feel good.
We all feel good.
We're gonna have to put a warning in the SEO of this one, buddy.
No, I'm leaving it open.
No.
That's the whole thing. Trigger warnings?
Yes.
That was all part of Lolcows.
Wait, what?
Those guys who went after like people who did trigger warnings or all these other different things, like memeing people.
Yeah.
Like especially from that era of the internet of like trigger warnings and like it's like 2015 internet. Because
Yeah.
Ethan Klein himself did that. He had all that bullshit where he was leaning into the pipeline, the alt-right pipeline, and fighting SJWs and all that different stuff.
Yeah.
You're memeing these people and making new content out of them.
I
even if they
wasn't
aren't
trying to
making
meme it. I just know that we have listeners that sometimes are putting us on like audio or playing the YouTube. Where
Oh
their
yeah,
kids
that's
are
right.
around.
Don't listen to your kids.
That's what I mean. Like we need to put
All right.
some type of warning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. But before that, we don't need a warning for this.
What?
That we're gonna say
Do
hi.
the shout outs.
We're gonna do our shout outs to the Hey Huns and the Feds and
and
all the
Elon's
others.
Tier for his Fed tier.
Now I gotta make one.
Yeah, you gotta make the Elon tier.
All right, we'll be right back after this.
Pearlmania, 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 Pearlmania.
500.net.
That's where you can go to join our Patreon, which is where I just made a joke before the little break there that it was on the warm up, which
Yeah.
is the Patreon exclusive, which is we were joking about how if Elon Musk is listening to our podcast, that we should make a special Fed tier for him.
Yeah, that is just
That's
for
like
Elon.
double the Fed tier
Yeah.
cost. And
Yeah.
it's called like the
Elon
can
tier.
suck it tier.
Well, I don't think we can say suck it.
Okay, bucket.
I feel like
I used to drink at a bar called Buckets.
okay. You know what?
All the booze came in a bucket.
We're gonna get into that.
Okay, we are?
I know. All right, let's go ahead and start our Hey Huns. And
Okay.
to everybody here, we have, I think, a lot this week. And I wanted to say thank you to everybody who's been joining, everybody who's been sort of supporting the podcast and
Yeah,
supporting
thank you
us.
so much
It's been
for
really cool.
helping us create a better podcast.
And I can't wait to crash out for you guys slowly over a decade.
Yes.
That is going to be pulled. That right there is 100% going to be pulled for the documentary.
Perfect.
Yeah. Remember, send Turkey Tom that timestamp. All right, so Luann Taran.
Hey, hon.
After that, we have Lizzie.
Hey, Lizzie.
After that, we have Josh.
Hey, Josh.
Just Josh. You know there's 4 Democratic governors named Josh?
That checks out.
Yep. After that, we have Danielle Wright.
Hey, hon.
After that, we have Jennifer Z.
Hey, Jennifer.
After that, we have Comiker 199999999. I don't want to figure out what that number is because again, there's no commas.
I love
hate it
it.
when there's no number.
Hey,
Wait,
hon.
hold on. It's 1,999,000. Oh no, I was wrong. It's actually 19 million. Fuck it. Comiker, thank you.
I hope that when she was just putting it in, like she just like dropped her phone.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like when the cat would walk across the
Exactly.
keyboard. After that, we have Kate Shemansky.
Hey, Shemansky.
After that, we have Chana Kudan.
Hey, hon.
After that, we have Scaramouche.
Scaramouche.
Do you do the fandango? Blunderbuss of lightning, very, very frightening me. Galileo, 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 grew up in Mexico. I'm just a poor boy, nobody loves me.
He's just a poor boy from a poor family.
Spared in his life from this monstrosity. We're gonna stop there.
Okay, we're gonna stop there.
Okay. Or else we're gonna keep going.
gotta
You know
pitch
why?
up. We gotta
You know
pitch
what?
up.
We don't know why I needed to do that for Scaramucci there, or it could be that's Scaramouche. Because the next person,
Okay.
their name is undiagnosed ADHD ruined my credit score.
Oh. Hey, bud.
Can you tell, buddy?
Hey, bud.
Listen,
Hey,
I
hon.
100% get that.
Yeah.
I 100% get that, bud. And if you check with a local credit union, the credit union is a nonprofit bank, not-for-profit banking institution. A lot of times they have credit fix orgs that they partner with that might be able to help you kind of figure out some of this different stuff out.
Yeah.
Part of it might be about going and finding ways to take a bunch of different credit cards and put them together into one centralized loan and get it paid off in a schedule. There's a bunch of different things there. So undiagnosed ADHD ruined my credit score.
Hey, hon.
After that, we have Aretha Thornton.
Hey, hon.
After that, we have Ash Steinbaugh.
Hey, Ash.
Thank you so much for writing the phonetics pronunciation at the
Perfect.
end of your name. Because it looks like it says Ash Steinbach, but then in parentheses, pronounced Steinbaugh. And so
Love that.
I nailed it the first time. I appreciate you. You're a great person. After that, we have John Krantz.
Hey, hon.
After that, we have Bulkin.
Bulkin?
Yep, there's a C in there that threw me off. After that, we
Him.
have Joe Hill.
Hey, Joe.
After that, we have Maniac Cuzco.
Maniac Costco?
Cuzco. Kuzco.
Hey, Costco.
After that, we have Riley Flavored Snacks.
Riley flavored snacks?
That's what it says. Riley Flavored
Hey,
Snacks.
man.
After that, we have Hal Masterson. Hal Martinson.
Oh, my God. You just had 3 different names.
It's such a long episode.
Hey, hon.
I went Mrs. P book club on this
Yeah,
one.
you really did.
After that, we have Bonnie Hildebrand.
Hey, hon.
After that, we have Brie XOXO.
Oh, I also love brie. It's a delicious cheese.
Yeah.
Hey, hon.
After that, we just had such a really good cheese at Longwood Gardens recently.
Oh, that's right. For my
We
birthday.
did. Yeah, we went. It was your birthday recently, and we went and we had such a nice meal.
We had such a nice lunch, and we got a cheese plate. Obviously, got to get a
Yes.
cheese plate.
Gotta get a cheese
And I
plate.
was like, hey, I have the celiac, so I can't have any
Yeah.
crackers or bread.
And
And they were like, oh, we can bring you sliced apples and sliced pears. And I said, that sounds great.
And they were rose apples.
They were the best.
I've
fucking-
never touched-
like fresh from an orchard. They probably grow them there or
Yeah.
something. It was so good. And there was this cheese.
Yeah.
There was like a couple cheese, but we were fighting over this one. It was so good.
Y'all, listen, if you want to know where your Patreon money went,
No,
it
that's-
went to this meal for Mrs. P's birthday. You didn't see the bill. I looked at that bill. I went, damn. But
That's
also,
because I said truffles. Let's go.
everything fresh grown on Longwood Gardens. Like a lot of it is fresh. Everything was just so good. They're good farmers over there. That's the farmers we want.
Yeah.
After Brie XOXO, we have Nicole Murphy.
Hey, Nicole. Hey, hon.
After that, we have One Good Night.
One. We're all hoping for one.
We're all
Hey,
holding for
hon.
One Good Night.
Hey, hon.
KNITH. Night, like as in milady.
Oh, milady.
Yeah. After that, we have Jennifer Renard.
Hey, hon.
After that, we have CB.
CB.
Just CB.
Hey, hon.
Like CB Radio. After that, we have Alicia Smith.
Hey, Alicia.
After that, we have Adam Warnham.
Hey, Adam.
After that, we have Arabella Benson.
Hey, hon.
And finally,
Okay.
we have Mrs. P _ dark _ and _ mysterious _ past. Mrs. P's dark and mysterious past.
This is what you were talking when I said I used to drink at a bar called Buckets.
Yep.
It's fun because they would bring out like the tin buckets that like you would serve like a sixer of cold beers in.
Yep.
But they would just fill it up with whatever drink. I would always prefer Skippies, and they'd fill it up with Skippies, and then they'd give you like 4 straws for you and your 4 friends to drink out of the bucket together. But me and my bestie, who I'm not gonna name, were like, just 2 straws, please. Or sometimes we're like, we're each getting our own. And that on those nights, I'll never forget the time we almost got kicked out of that bar. That bar closed. Their profit margin too low. They're serving buckets. But we had like gone to 7-Eleven like a week before and got like the Slurpee straws, like the ones that, like you could whip around, they whistle. You know those big ass Johns?
Yeah.
And so we had them and we're like, let's go to Buckets with these. So we put them in our purse. We head over to the Buckets bar. And we're like, 2 buckets of Skippies, please. And we don't, no straws. We brought our own. And then they're like, what is that? And we're like, we're calling them Suckets. Anyway, I had to stop drinking a long time ago.
So
Because I was too good at it. That's
So-
what it is.
I want to we need to have a comment for the
Okay.
end of for everyone to write
Oh, Jesus.
for the end of the video.
Okay.
And video and audio and everything else. For the engagement.
Yeah, for the engagement.
And so I think that this week, I would like everyone to write, Mrs. P, thank you for sharing that epic bucket story at the very end of the podcast that everyone should totally wait after all of the Patreon shout outs to hear.
Yeah.
Because, oh my God, that is the greatest thing I've ever heard.
That's a really long comment.
I want you to write, Mrs. P. Guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode. Do you have any final words, Mrs. P?
Listen, let's all be nice to each other because the internet's dark and fucked up.
Yeah, it's
But,
dark
like-
and it's fucked up, and it's been like this for decades, and it's just very few of us are willing to notice
Yeah.
and then mention it as we see it. But yeah,
But anyway, thank you all for listening. I hope you have a great week. And I don't know what else to say.
there's nothing else to say. This is Too Many Tabs. We'll see you next week. If you want to hear any more of our stuff, go check us out at pearlmania500.net and join our Patreon for even more content.
Too many frauds and too many scammers that we wish weren't real. Too many cons and too many spammers, and we're starting to feel like we've got too many tabs open. It's too many tabs. Remember to smile.